Support the Triton Lego Railway on Patreon today. Each tier has great perks including having your name on the railway, early access to projects and videos, and more. If you like what you see and want to help it grow, join the Triton Lego Railway on Patreon today. Link in the description below. Hello and welcome to another LEGO Train MOC showcase video. This is for the Nickel Plate Road S2 Polar Express. So this is my third Patreon sponsored build. If you like what you see and want to see more of this in the future, consider being a member on Patreon today. Patreon members get early access and sneak peeks to the work in progress and the finished result of the trains, rolling stock and the super train station before it goes onto Flickr or YouTube. Anything you give does go a long way, and if you are interested in being a member on Patreon, there is a link at the top of the description. Now there are a few things I want to make sure are all up to date, and I'm pretty sure there are going to be plenty of people in the comments saying the name of this engine is wrong. So just to make sure that everyone's clear on the research that I did, this is an engine that has a few names, which is odd for me. I might not know the exact name, but I call this Nickel Plate Road S2. Nickel Plate Road is the company that made this in the same way LNER made Flying Scotsman. S2 is the class of this locomotive in the same way A3 is the class for the Flying Scotsman. That's going to be the engine I'm going to use to reference a few details. Berkshire is mentioned a lot, apparently, when it comes to this engine. Berkshire is the name of the wheel configuration this locomotive uses. This is a 284. The Flying Scotsman is a 462. That is called a Pacific. It's not uncommon for engines to have the wheel configuration name in the actual engine name itself, so I suppose that's fair. But again, it's a bit odd to have the wheel configuration as a part of the engine's name. I don't know, that's just me personally. And also, I've seen 765 in the name in particular. When I made this over a year ago, I called it a Berkshire 765 because that's what I thought it was called. But no, after doing some more research, it's now a completely different name. So 765 is the running number for this engine. Again, like Flying Scotsman, the running number is 4472. So if any of that is incorrect, or if I'm missing anything, please tell me in the comment section. I am British, this is an American locomotive. I'm bound to get something wrong, so again, don't be too harsh, please. I mean, whilst I am good at building LEGO trains, the research is something I never really touch up on. I did more research for this locomotive than I have for others, but again, I'm bound to get something wrong. So let's actually have a look at the engine itself. When I started building this, I looked at the real-world locomotive, not the model used in the movie. The cowcatcher at the front is something you see in the film, but not on real-life models. There may be a model out there that's existed in this class that featured a cowcatcher, but not that I could see with the research. Also, there are some other details with the headlamp and some triangular shaped pieces and some sloped bricks here, trying to represent where the running number would go. The bell at the top, of course, very American in my opinion. You can tell that it's an American engine if it has a bell at the front, which I think is kind of cute. I mean, it's definitely a standout feature, something you would obviously know as to where the engine came from. Going down the boiler, it is a very busy boiler. There is a lot of details going on. And I actually quite like this, there's more to look at. So if we go back to the front section here, we can see a few details along the side, just more pipe work and other specifics that's, whilst I don't quite understand, it's something that is there, and it's something that I can represent with some Lego bricks. One of the more famous areas on this locomotive is this side section here in the center. Now there should be 6 of these pipes, or at least I'm assuming they're pipes. 4 will be going downwards, and there's 2 near the front end of the locomotive that go sideways that you can see there. Sadly, I've only got 3 instead of 4, and that is mainly because I want them all to be sticking out at the same point. It's not consistent, which is something I don't like, but with my still limited building skills, that is the best I could do. I might have to twist one of the antenna pieces, well not antenna, they are lever pieces. I might twist this one so it's facing downwards along these to look a little bit better, but even then, you can tell that there are 2 going sideways at this angle at the front, and it's just a matter of deciding what do I want to do, 3 and 2 or 4 and 1. That's what I've gone with. Also, this big section here in the middle of the boiler, not too sure what's housed in there or why it's differently shaped, But when I built this the first time around over a year ago, it was very different. Using chunkier bricks and kind of just winging it, going, yeah, I just put it together nice and done, cheap and easy. Now I'm using slope bricks, I'm using angled bricks, and it looks so much better and so much more realistic. I'm loving it. Just before we reach the back of the boiler, let's go to the wheels. This is the same cylinder design that I have used for my Hush Hush locomotive and also my Princess Royal class. It is easy for me to replicate this here for this model because of the overall size of the engine and the plenty of space I have between the drive wheels and the plate underneath the boiler. The drive wheels I'm using are the standard size large drivers that LEGO has made. This one in particular you can tell because of the counterweights on the wheels. I did a poll on my YouTube channel and in a community post saying to people, what looks more accurate, this size or extra large? The vast majority of people said this size, and that is what I have stuck with. It looks pretty good, but the overall scale isn't completely accurate, but I'll get to that at the end of the video. There's a large cylinder piece atop the rear two drive wheels. I've been able to replicate that with some 2x2 round bricks and a few extra details to hang it onto the side. Looking rather nice. And just to move this forward, so smooth, it looks really good, especially when it's on the run. And we have a look at the back of the boiler. All of these tiny bricks here representing real life details. They all kind of do their own job, and I'm not too sure what they do in particular, but they are all there, and I think it is nice to see some more busyness, you know, some more little bumpy sections at the back when you kind of notice that it's there, so you see more bricks and go, oh, we can actually do that. Yeah, it just looks really nice. It's different compared to the smoother boilers of British locomotives. Now to the cab, this is something that amuses me. This is something I believe looks good on streamlined locomotives, but for something like this, it's kind of weird. The cab is hovering above the trailing wheels and is also really far back. I don't quite agree with that design, but that's only because I'm used to British locomotives and that's not something that you would see on a British locomotive. But again, it's not broken, so don't fix it, no need to change it. It has its own charm to it. Again, I think this would look really good on the streamlined locomotives, but again, for something as industrial looking as this, it's just a bit odd. I know, personal opinion. Looking into the cab, there actually isn't too much to see there. I'm not going to try and take the minifigure out because, again, there's only a few basic bricks in there. The minifigure standing up only just fits. That's because of the overall scale, but again, I will mention that at the end of the video. So when it comes to actually running this on the track, over the points, it's very smooth, and that is something I'm very happy with. The points are kind of the ultimate test when it comes to building my locomotives. It can go around corners, fine. Can I go over points? Excellent. It's a runner. The wheels turn really smoothly. I could shove this along the track and it will glide for a good distance before finally coming to a stop. And all in all, that is the boiler. And now the tender. Again, in comparison to everything else that I've built, it looks very different, but you know why. So this is, again, 8 studs wide as the overall width of this locomotive is. It's not as tall as I want it to be. That is the deal breaker of this whole build. That's mainly due to the drive wheels, but again, I said I'd leave that for the end of the video, but now you got a little hint as to why it's not as good as I want it to be. These 4x3 minifigure plates along the side of the tender represent the rivets on the metal sheets that keep this thing together, and that is a design that I have discovered a long time ago. American LEGO train builders have used this design before, and will continue to do so because it is a genius little design. The wheels are standard train wheels that come in pairs. These are wheels I've had kind of put up into a pile now. Well, I say a pile, it's more like a mountain. But now that I'm using different wheels, these are all becoming more plentiful. And these look really good. These have all the details on the side. I don't need to kind of brick build them. So that's another good thing. Here at the front, it's not so much the darkness that's blocking what you can see, it's just bland. I looked at a model of this locomotive and some of the real pictures. I couldn't find anything. I don't know if that's again because the pictures were kind of low quality or again because the model didn't really show anything, but I couldn't see anything at that section of the tender where the cab drivers would turn around to shovel some coal, but again, that's just what I saw. Hopefully it's all got its own reasons. The coal bed is plenty big. I love this a lot. It's this big and yet it takes only half the length of the tender. It's amazing. I think that looks really cool. Shows the overall size necessary for American locomotives. And of course, at the back section, we got 3 covers for the water tank, or at least one of them would be. Maybe the other 2 would be for storage reasons, but then again, I doubt it. Those are 2x3 tiles I'm using there. I was going to use 2x4. That turned out to be a little bit too long, and they are definitely rectangular, so the 2x2s were out of the question. And the overall shape just looks really good. A bit simple, sadly, but again, the overall shape is there. The only thing is missing is the height. So now on to the scale problem I have mentioned a few times in this video. This is not as tall as I want it to be. The overall scale is there, the length is there, the width is there, but it just isn't tall enough. You can tell by the tender. The tender should be another brick or 2 taller. Now, I can easily do that, and I would like to have done that, but the only reason why it isn't that is because of the drive wheels. When I did the poll saying to people, what do you want the drive wheels to be for this locomotive, what looks more accurate, people said this size, which is the standard large size. I thought, you know what, cool. I've only seen one model of the Polar Express use extra large drivers, and I can definitely put in an order, but it takes a good few weeks, maybe even a month for it to arrive now with this global pandemic. But again, I have these wheels plentiful in supply, so why not just use them? The scale just isn't there. This is built around the drive wheels being all correct, and it's all good and all looks nice. But if I put this up against my other locomotive, it's not as tall. I put this next to my P2, the P2 was taller. I put this next to my Tornado, the Tornado was taller. I put this up against City of Truro. The City of Truro is taller. All of them are only just taller, but they are taller. I don't like that. It's a shame. I know why though, because it's the drive wheels. In time, maybe I'll have to make another order for some more wheels. I could definitely replace it and upgrade this again. But for now, I'm just going to have to accept the fact that maybe this isn't supposed to be as big and as grand as I think American locomotives are. Again, lengthwise and widthwise, they definitely are, but maybe when it comes to the height, they're just not as tall as I think they are. So, that will do for this video. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all ever so much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. I will see you all in the next episode. Bye.